Mountain Smith here, reading the Bible for the first time. As always, my honest reactions, and I am going into Genesis 39 right now. So let's see what we got. Because the last one, Genesis 38, kind of interesting there between Judah. There's a whole new storyline of Judah and Tamar, some prostitution going on, and some babies being born, and the Lord not liking his two sons, and obviously he was fearful of his other son, Shelah, dying. So let's get into this next one here. 39, Genesis 39. Joseph in Potiphar's house. Potiphar's house? I always kind of mispronounce a lot of names and stuff here, so let's figure this out. When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. I remember this. Where was this here? So we're going back to Joseph, and this was when he was sold into slavery by his brothers. So this is actually good, because I was kind of curious what was going to happen with him. I'm not sure why we talked about Judah and Tamar, though. I'm going to have to figure that part out, or maybe somebody can tell me. I'm not really sure why we went from 37 and Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers to talking about Judah and Tamar. Why don't we just go into this? But anyways, okay, I guess that's what I've understood a little bit about reading the Bible for the first time, is that I'm not going to understand things, and I've never been told anything, so go with it. All right, when Joseph was, let's start over here. Joseph in Potiphar's house. When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did as he served in the home of his Egyptian master. Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. This pleased Potiphar. So he soon made Joseph his personal attendant. He put him in charge of his entire household and everything he owned. All right. Potiphar kind of worked his way up Joseph worked his way up by proving that he's loyal and just doing the job, let's just say. Even though he's sold into slavery, which is not what you want to be, but, it's kind of tells a story here. Anyways. From the day Joseph was put in charge of his master's household and property, the Lord began to bless Potiphar's household for Joseph's sake. Okay. So the Lord favors Joseph to make sure, I'm kind of taking that the Lord favors Joseph then, since he's blessing Potiphar's house and everything to care for Joseph. Okay, that's the way I'm kind of reading it. All his household affairs ran smoothly, and his crops and livestock flourished. So Potiphar gave Joseph complete administrative responsibility over everything he owned. With Joseph there, he didn't worry about a thing, except what kind of food to eat. That sounds about right, You got somebody in charge that you trust and that making things go good, then just care about, don't even think about anything. Joseph was a very handsome and well-built young man. Ooh, we have a real description of somebody for once. And Potiphar's wife soon began to look at him lustfully. "Come and sleep with me," she demanded. Uh-oh, that's either going to be a good thing or bad. I don't know. But you've got the Pharaoh's wife, Potiphar. It's going to be good or bad here. But Joseph refused. Probably a good idea. "Look," he told her, "my master trusts me with everything in his entire household. No one here has more authority than I do. He has held back nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God." Good on Joseph, right? Good, smart. Got to be careful. She's a woman, and he is... It's just a man's intuition there, so he's got to be careful. She kept putting pressure on Joseph day after day, but he refused to sleep with her, and he kept out of her way as much as possible. One day, however, no one else was around when he went in to do his work. She came and grabbed him by his cloak, demanding, "Come on, sleep with me." Joseph tore himself away, but he left his cloak in her hand as he ran from the house. Uh-oh. This is exactly like a movie. Runs away, but yet you left something. Oh, no. Never leave a shirt, never leave a tie, never leave your bra, never leave, your shoes, your socks. Uh-oh, this isn't good. When he saw that she was holding his cloak and he had fled, she called out to her servants. Soon all the men came running. "Look," she said, "my husband has brought this Hebrew slave here to make fools of us. He came into my room to rape me." But I screamed. When he heard me scream, he ran outside and got away, but he left his cloak behind me. Oh, shoot. She kept the cloak with her until her husband came home. Then she told him her story. "That Hebrew slave you brought into our house tried to come in and fool around with me," she said. "But when I screamed, he ran outside, leaving his cloak with me." Oh, that would figure. She is lying, and this guy who's been doing everything possible, the Lord is, covering Potiphar's house, making everything good, and then the wife, her lustfulness is getting the better of her, and that is, we got to see what's going on here. Joseph put in prison. Potiphar was furious when he heard his wife's story about how Joseph had treated her. So he took Joseph and threw him into the prison where the king's prisoners were held, and there he remained. But the Lord was with Joseph in the prison and showed him his faithful love. And the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. Before long, the warden put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners and over everything that happened in the prison. The warden had no more worries because Joseph took care of everything. The Lord was with him and caused everything he did to succeed. Wow, so Joseph is really favored by the Lord in whatever manner here. So I am curious why Joseph is so favored. Perhaps that was revealed earlier in the previous chapters, and I just don't remember. That's quite often because this is a lot to take in, especially for the first time. That's the biggest thing for somebody like me. I am curious about that. It's nice that the Lord is looking out for somebody and obviously puts him in charge, so maybe the prison's doing good. Potiphar's wife, though, is the only thing that seems to be pretty terrible within this chapter.